Tired of messy vocal rehearsals and last-minute chaos? Would you like to eliminate confusion, tighten your blend, and create moments where your vocal team feel confident and free to worship? In this video, I'll show you ways to give your singers clear and intentional direction, even when you don't have very much time. Let's be honest, most teams don't have time for a full vocal rehearsal. And many times, there's only a few moments to gather together before we join the whole band. And whether you are the worship leader or you're a vocalist on the team, you've probably felt frustrated at times because the vocals seemed all over the place, nobody knew what to sing or when to sing. The problem isn't always the team. It may just be that you have something missing from your rehearsal process. I will show you that you can still have vocals that lead with excellence even when you don't have a full vocal run-through. And I'm going to give you some tools that will change the way that you practice at home and at rehearsal. Now, every worship team and church has a different culture, a way of doing things, and I understand this. I'm giving you resources to think about, and you can take what you want and leave the rest. Do what works for you. But these may give you some ideas that you can implement with your vocalists to help them lead with clarity, help them be more confident, and to sing in unity. The first tool I want to share is a vocal map. Now, a vocal map tells your vocalists when to sing and how to layer harmonies throughout the song. And here's the bonus. If you have rotating singers and worship leaders or multiple campuses and you're using a shared vocal language, everybody wins. There's clarity, there's unity, and nobody's left guessing. If you run into the issue of your vocalist not really knowing when to sing, so they either sing the entire time or they're not really singing out confidently because they're not sure if they should be singing at all, then a vocal map for each song is going to help with this. Let's talk about the benefits of having a vocal map. A vocal map helps establish a typical pattern for harmonies and trains your team to pay attention to how they're building and layering harmonies. Harmony adds diversity and depth to the song. If we sang every song in unison with no parts, it would be very monotonous. On the other extreme, if we introduce harmony early in a song, then the song doesn't have a chance to go anywhere dynamically. Harmonies that are intentional help lift the song and provide texture and rise and fall moments. This is what stewarding a song looks like for a vocalist. So I encourage you to lean into this. If you struggle with harmonies and this feels very overwhelming, stick with me. If it doesn't feel like harmony comes naturally to you, it will require some ear training and you'll have to put some effort in. But don't give up. I have a video that I'll link in the description that it's great for understanding and learning harmonies for worship. Let's break down what a vocal map consists of and the hand signals that you can use to communicate in rehearsal for each one. L stands for lead or unison. This is when the men and women are singing the melody, just in different octaves. Lead or unison is usually used for verses or the first or second bridge in a multiple bridge, and the hand signal for lead is L. An example of this would be Amazing Grace in the key of D. The ladies would sing Amazing Grace, and the men would sing the same thing but an octave lower. Prime lead is used to emphasize a section. So for example, in the song I Speak Jesus, the key of C, as you're singing the chorus, break every stronghold, shine through the shadows. You're doing that in parts, but on that very last line, burn like a fire, everyone comes together and sings prime lead. That means you're singing in the same octave, not different octaves like before on lead. So it would be burn like a fire. The girls would be low singing on the C, burn like a fire. And the guys would be up singing the same C, burn like a fire. They're not singing. They're singing up with the women. burn like a fire. There's no harmony there. They're both singing the same part for emphasis. The hand signal for prime lead would be the L for lead, but flipped up and down like this. The next vocal map section is P for parts. This means you're breaking into parts or harmony, whatever harmonies you've arranged. The hand signal for parts during rehearsal would be 3 fingers on its side. Now, if you want even more layering, you can specify 2-part harmony or 3-part harmony. And we do that with a 2P, meaning only 2 parts are being sung. This is great for a more open, airy moment. Most contemporary worship nowadays is 2-part, 1 male, 1 female part. This could also mean just the worship leader and 1 other vocal part, and then you can add more vocals as the song goes along. The hand signal for 2 parts in rehearsal would be 2 fingers on the side. Then we have 3P, which is for 3 parts. This would be a full choral sound, soprano, alto, and tenor. It usually depends on the song. More gospel-style songs like Charity Gale would call for 3 parts. Again, it depends on the song style and what you're going for. The hand signal for 3-part harmony would be 3 fingers on the side. Using 2 and 3-part harmony hand signals lets your vocals know in rehearsal how to stack the parts and when to add that 3rd harmony, usually a higher soprano part. Then we have X, which means no singing. That's right, sometimes the best part of the vocal map is knowing when not to sing. I know sometimes vocalists are frustrated because they feel like they're not singing very much in a song, but I promise you there's intention behind it and you're still leading the moment even though you're not on the mic. Let the song breathe. Let the moment breathe. Sometimes it's just the worship leader who's singing. This gives the song dynamics. So if it's a more intimate, soft moment, vocals are out and it's just 1 vocal in. The hand signal to use in rehearsal for no singing is a fist. And remember, you're only using these hand signals in rehearsal, not the actual worship service. But if you're a worship leader or music director and you are interested in a full guide to hand signals for the band to flow in unity during the worship service, I have a video that covers every single hand signal and the reason behind them, and I'll put that link in the description. And something else to think about. Your worship pastor or leader may be busy in the rehearsal, communicating with the band, using hand signals. So it might be a good idea to have a volunteer that's a vocalist who really understands harmonies. They're a strong vocalist, they know the vocal maps, and have them use the hand signals to communicate to the vocalist when to sing and when not to sing. And that way it takes the pressure off of the worship leader to have to do that as well. And sometimes we call this a vocal director, but it's just a volunteer position. Find someone that loves harmonies and would love to learn these signals and give them to the singers during rehearsal. Now you may be saying, I don't even know how to build a vocal map. Here are some best practices. What are the lowest moments in the song? Usually for slower worship songs, the lowest moments are the first verse, first chorus, and the first time through the bridge. These sections will be the most impactful the more we strip away extra voices and harmonies, usually having only 1 leader on a mic singing melody. If it's an upbeat song with more band presence, then it would make sense to bring vocals in earlier, maybe on the first chorus. Usually the biggest moments are the bridge and the choruses that happen later in the song. These sections will be most impactful when we have multiple vocalists singing, some on harmony, some on melody, and that's when you would bring in 3 parts. Pay attention to what the band is doing dynamically and musically. That's going to give you a good indication on how to stack parts. It's a journey that the song is taking us on. So I want to give you a visual to show you what this could actually look like. Let's use Holy Forever as an example. Verse 1 is usually down with the worship leader singing with no other vocals. Then as the band lifts to the pre-chorus, you can either keep the worship leader singing without any other vocals, or you can add vocals all together in unison. Then as the band drops out on chorus 1, you can have the worship leader singing by themselves, or keep vocals in lightly on a unison. And then the band builds bigger into verse 2. The vocalist would sing lead, unison, and there's no pre-chorus this time. It goes straight to chorus 2, which is going to be a lot bigger, and this is where you'll introduce parts. Then everything dynamically comes down a little bit to a pre-chorus, which would be just the worship leader or vocals in unison. Then another pre-chorus. You could introduce a harmony at this time if you wanted to. And then as it builds bigger into a big chorus 2, you would be full on parts, and then you would tag it, and that would be the end of the song. So that's what a song journey looks like. And every song is going to build differently dynamically. So just make sure that you're being intentional with how you're layering the harmonies and have fun with it. This does take time to develop, but don't be overwhelmed because the results far outweigh the effort that you're putting in. So just take one song at a time and knock out a couple of songs a week until you have vocal maps for most of your regular songs. If you're the worship leader and you don't have the bandwidth to do this, it's okay. Pull in a volunteer that enjoys harmonies and has some musical background that would love to take this project on. Now you've told your vocalist when to sing and how to layer the harmonies, and I want to give you some tools now that will help you tell them exactly what they need to sing. Many teams rely on audio recordings for vocal parts, and they upload these to Planning Center or whatever planning software that they use. And you would need 2 devices for this. One device to play the song in the key that it's posted in with a lead vocal on it, and then another device that's recording the harmony part. And you would just do a separate recording for each harmony part and label that and upload it in Planning Center. Make sure that when you record, the harmony part is a little louder than the lead vocal, but that the lead vocal is still at a volume that they can hear it for reference. And if at all possible, record in the key that you're actually going to be doing it in. You can sometimes find apps that will transpose the song. It may sound like a chipmunk, but at least they can practice the harmony in the right key. There are also some subscriptions online like Loop Community, Multitracks, and Worship Online that have paid versions that will isolate the vocal parts for you so that they can learn the harmonies. And sometimes there are harmony tutorials on YouTube for popular songs that you can post in Planning Center, but again, they need to be in the right key for them to be very helpful. These tools can be effective and they work well, but they're only helping your vocalist hear something and mimic it or just memorize it. It's not helping them actually learn harmonies, learn how to read harmonies. If you really want them to grow as vocalists who can learn harmony and their ear is trained to hear intervals, then you're going to want to use a number chart. A vocal number chart is the secret weapon to learning how to sing and arrange vocal harmonies. It uses the Nashville number system to display notes instead of actual notes on a music staff. Now, before I have everyone yelling at me in the comments and saying this is too difficult, this is over the top, this is too much, I know that this isn't for everyone and there is a learning curve, but I'm giving this to you if you want to push yourself and you want to grow as a musician and a vocalist and you're not satisfied with status quo where you're at and you really want to learn harmonies and you want to be able to hear them and sing them. This number system is going to help you with that. I'm not going to unpack the whole process of vocal charts in this video. I'm going to show you the foundation of it, what it looks like, and then I'll link a video in the description that is a lot more detailed. The purpose of the vocal chart is to notate harmonies so they are clear and everyone is singing the same thing. It also ensures that multiple parts work together and don't clash or have dissonance. So instead of naming notes or chords by letter like D, F sharp, A, we use numbers. So instead of do, re, mi, it's 1, 2, 3. In the key of D, D is 1, E is 2, F sharp is 3, G is 4, and so on. This helps vocalists train their ear and transpose more easily to other keys. This is what a vocal number chart could look like, and it also includes a vocal map, which we talked about earlier. The great thing is, no matter the key, the numbers are the same. However, if the key is for a female to lead the song, the parts will be laid out accordingly with a male harmony. And if it's reversed and a male is leading the song, then the parts would flip on the chart. This vocal chart is for a male-led song in a male key, and the parts are laid out accordingly. As you can see on the right-hand side, we have a vocal map key. All the sections of the song are listed and what the vocalists are doing in each section. The entire song is written out lyrically with a number displayed above the syllable where it occurs. On the chorus, you'll notice that the T for tenor is capitalized and bolded. This means that the tenor is singing the melody line. The sopranos and altos are singing the harmony line. An apostrophe next to a number indicates the octave higher. An underline, as seen in verse 1, indicates the octave lower. Since every key has different notes with sharps and flats, you'll need to learn how to build chords using a common formula for a major scale. You would build the scale starting with the first note of the key and then going whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, in order to figure out the notes in every key. If the song is in a minor key, the formula will be different, but you can find both of these on the internet. This will take some basic music theory, but there are so many resources out on the internet that can help you. If you want to geek out on this, be my guest. Just have fun with it, and then you can spend a few minutes and you'll have all the notes that correspond with the numbers. As you can see on this chart, the key of C major is the only key that does not have any sharps or flats. It's all white keys. All the other keys have sharps or flats. So using the major scale formula, let's figure out what are the corresponding numbers for the key of D. D is 1, E is 2, F sharp is 3, G is 4, A is 5, B is 6, C sharp is 7, and D is 1 with an apostrophe because it is the D that's an octave higher than the root note D. If you look on a piano, you'll notice that each one of these notes corresponds with the formula, either a whole step or a half step. To quickly show you how this works, let's look at What a Beautiful Name, Chorus 1. Remember, this is a female-led song in the key of D, so that means the sopranos have the melody line. You also know this because the S is capitalized and bolded. Because I now know the formula to figure out what notes are in the key of D, I know that the 4 is the G. So I'll start on the 4 and play the numbers accordingly, and that's how I'll find the melody. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2. And then for the alto line, we'll start on the 2, which is an E. And again, you're going to just follow the numbers. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 7, 7, and so on. And that gives you your alto line, and you would do the same for tenor. Let's look at Build My Life, male-led in the key of A. The tenors have the lead and start on a 5. 5, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 4, 4. And then the sopranos and altos are singing the 1, which is an A, an octave higher. So it's this A, not this A. We want to do the higher A because there's an apostrophe. Here's the soprano alto part. 1, 1, 1, 6, 5, 4, 6, 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 5, 5, and so on. It's important to note that if you want to implement the number chart system for your vocalist, that whoever is writing these charts out, they have some basic music theory knowledge, basic piano, they understand chord structure, and then they know how to write it out numerically. I know this may seem like a lot. It may even seem a little extra, and that's okay. When I first heard this and I was learning it, it was difficult for me to get my head around. And I've had 3 years of music theory in high school and college. But I wanted to push myself. I wanted to grow. I wanted to stay curious. And I wasn't satisfied where I was at. I could hear harmonies, but I wanted to be better about reading a chart to make sure I was singing the harmonies that the other alto was going to be singing as well. So it really reduced the confusion, and we both practiced on our own and then showed up singing the exact same part. So these charts work, and they do take some effort, but if you really want to grow in your craft, I encourage you to lean in and learn a little more about it. And of course, if this isn't for you, you could still do good old audio recordings. That works just fine. I just want to give you an extra tool to have in your tool belt if you want to partake of it. Well, that's it. Whew. We made it through. Thank you for sticking with me. These tools, the vocal map, the hand signals, the number chart, the audio recording of parts, whatever you choose to do, these are going to help your team go faster and further and lead with more unity and intentionality. I promise you. But just take one step at a time. Maybe just implement hand signals during rehearsal or a vocal map. That's something easy. That's some low-hanging fruit. You don't have to worry about the number chart right now. But just get your vocalists on the same page about when they're singing and how to layer the harmonies. I hope you feel more equipped and ready to level up your vocal preparation. Please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my other videos. And if you have a question or a comment, just leave it below. And if you want some free vocal resources, including some number exercises that will help you with interval ear training, sign up for my newsletter at theworshiplife.com. I'll put the link in the description along with all the videos that I mentioned today. Remember, you are empowered and you are equipped. Happy singing.